Welcome back, everyone. So the new Blade Runner movie just came out, and it's being directed by Denis Villeneuve. Okay, I'll try and keep that right. And to prepare, I thought I should go watch some more of Denis Villeneuve's movies, and that's how I was led to Enemy. So Enemy is about this history professor, played by Jake Gyllenhaal, and he's kind of stuck in a daily routine, which he's kind of sick of at this point. So one day, one of his co-workers recommends that he goes to watch this movie, and when he does, he notices an extra that looks exactly like him. So he eventually becomes obsessed with trying to find this extra and meeting him in real life, and when the two eventually do make contact, they become obsessed with each other. And it becomes this very perplexing, masterfully executed psychological thriller. Now, like I said before, I've seen some other of Denis Villeneuve's movies. I've seen Prisoners, I've seen Sicario, I saw Arrival last year, and I've seen Enemy. Now, they're all amazing movies. They're all definitely worth watching, but Enemy, there was something else about this movie. Right after watching it, I knew I just had to talk about it. I mean, it's such a perplexing story, and the way it's executed, just so much good about it. I don't even know where to begin. The direction, the editing, the way it's shot, the cinematography in this movie is beautiful, by the way. All the lighting, the compositions, it's all great, and something curious about this movie is the way it uses color. The overall palette of this movie is a very grungy, yellow-greenish color, and there are very few times in the movie where it deviates from that. For example, there's one point in this movie where it uses red. I'm not sure why, but it does. I feel like that's up for interpretation. But about the cinematography, it's not just the way it looks, it's the way it's used. This movie takes full advantage of the film format and has some fantastic visual storytelling. It's sparse on dialogue, but it's smart with its dialogue. It's very efficient in communicating its message, and I feel like that goes for this movie overall. This movie is an example of some very efficient storytelling. It doesn't waste a moment. Every single little thing in this movie has purpose. It's very well thought out and very well paced. And when I say that this movie is efficiently done, don't mistake that for me saying that it's a quick movie. This movie is not a fast movie by any means. It's more of a slow burn, and that seems like something consistent among Villeneuve's work, or at least from what I've seen. It's conscious about its pacing is what I'm trying to say. Now, I have to give credit to the cast, specifically Jake Gyllenhaal, who gives a fantastic performance in this movie. He plays both of the characters in this movie, and despite these two characters being played by the same person, they clearly feel like two different people. He proves that he is a master of nuance. Everyone else does a great job in this movie, but they're barely in it. Jake Gyllenhaal really carries the weight, and he definitely adds another layer to this movie. But the way all of these elements come together to execute this story is just definitely something to be praised. The way it builds itself over time, it just keeps introducing new things, and you're asking questions throughout this whole movie about this just strange scenario, and you keep contemplating what's the truth behind the situation, you know? What is it all supposed to mean? And you just keep asking questions until this movie ends, and you're still asking questions. And that's what this movie does. It keeps you thinking. And once you understand the true purpose behind this movie, it all just comes together. But yeah, overall, Enemy is an example of everything I love about filmmaking. It's so well pieced together, so well thought out. The cinematography, the visual storytelling, the performances, the way it's edited, the score, by the way, is also fantastic. It is eerie, unsettling, which really fits well with the strange atmosphere that this movie has, and at moments it just builds and explodes. And all of these elements just come together to create something that I am perfectly comfortable with calling a masterpiece. If you're interested in movies and filmmaking or directing or whatever, then this is a must-see for you. There is so much to learn from this movie, and even if you're not interested in that type of stuff, you should watch this movie, because it's a freaking good movie. Just know that you're in for a very unique experience that'll leave you scratching your head by the time you're done with it. And another thing that you should probably know, this is probably not a movie that you want to watch with your parents. There's a lot of explicit sexual imagery in this movie. Oh no. But it's not thrown in there just for the sake of it. It all has a very clear purpose in the story once you understand the true meaning behind it. And speaking of the true meaning behind the story, I think I'll briefly talk about that. I won't go too deep into it because I'm kinda late to the game with this one. I mean, the movie came out back in 2014. Plenty of people have already made videos analyzing the true meaning behind this story, so if you want to go learn about that, you should probably go check out one of those videos. I mean, I couldn't really figure out this movie until I started watching videos. This movie is supposed to be about a guy who has commitment issues. Guy, singular, because the two Jake Gyllenhaals in this movie, they're the same person. It drops hints about that throughout the entire story, and basically what he's doing is he's cheating between the two women in this movie. And this whole movie is supposed to be about the mental battle that he's having with himself to try and overcome this stigma that he has. It also has some strange imagery with spiders, and the spiders in this movie, it's a constant theme throughout, and apparently the spiders are supposed to represent women, and I'm not really sure if what they're trying to say by having Jake Gyllenhaal be played by two characters is that he has like multiple personality disorder, or if all of this isn't actually real and it's supposed to be a representation of his subconscious battle. But whatever it is, it's definitely not what it initially appears to be. Denis Villeneuve, only seen a couple of his movies, but he's already solidified himself as one of my favorite directors in the game right now, and I am very excited to see what he does with the new Blade Runner sequel. But yeah, Enemy, if you've seen it, let me know what you thought about it in the comments section, particularly with this one, because this is just, it's really interesting. And yeah, don't forget to like this video, share it, you know, all that jazz, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
I got enemies, got a lot of enemies.
Hey, you should subscribe.